My maternal bloodline runs thick with paint. Each genetic brushstroke is coated with the undeniable characteristics that stain my DNA. When my parents were together, they fought a lot. I discovered very quickly that the only way to remove myself was to retreat into the canvas. I could safely escape into an environment that somehow provided just enough emotional validation to survive the madness. Now, don't get me wrong, my mother was and is a warm and nurturing woman. She was very invested in giving her children the best life possible, and when she found the courage to throw my father out the door, she made a life for us. However, if I had to categorize her into just one parenting style, I would have to concede that it was for the most part indifferent. She was a single mom, working hard and out of the house from dawn till well after dusk. She just couldn't be everything, and so we lacked guidance, limitations, structure, and well, we raised ourselves. My artistic nature got me through my childhood. It even managed to keep me in school. Learning didn't come easy for me. It was a real struggle at times, but knowing I was getting up to go paint on the school walls got me up and out of bed and out the door. As an emerging adult, I floundered from college to college, suffering a bona fide identity crisis. I was lost, stuck in a moratorium status, having a great deal of difficulty finding myself. With each flip in direction, I could never be sure if I was insecure or just like too many things to be able to make a concrete decision on any one destination. I spent a few hours in a secretarial school. I worked several menial jobs. I went off to learn floriculture. I took a few core classes at a college with an amazing on-site theater and a museum. I didn't attend class often. I headed there motivated by all the creative stimulation, but it just couldn't anchor me in. I transferred to an art institute down south for advertising design, and even though it was located right on the beach, I managed to graduate, and I headed home to continue my education to teach art. Identity achievement was within my grasp when life got in the way. I got sick. I dropped out of school. I couldn't do much, but I still had my art. It got me through some very dark days, and life went on. The sun began to shine, and I moved on with my life. I painted and tried once again to find myself. The advent of online classes created the perfect opportunity to keep my job and go back to school, this time for psychology. I was motivated by a strong desire not only to understand human behavior and all its glorious dysfunction, I also wanted to make a difference in other people's lives. Helping others makes me feel good. Taking classes online was a bit dry and very frustrating, but it was a means to an end, and it opened up yet another door of desire. I wanted to teach. I wanted to provide students not only with an education, but one they could enjoy and really get something out of. I wanted to provide the creative environment I was all too often denied. Gardner, he got it. He knew that if you wanted to understand an individual's intelligence, you had to have a broad approach to understanding the uniqueness of intellectual abilities. Take me. Ask me to balance your checkbook, and the bank might just notify you of an overdraft. What I lacked in mathematical intelligence, I made up for in spatial intelligence, relying heavily on mental imagery, spatial reasoning, image manipulation, graphic and artistic skills, not to mention having a sometimes very active imagination. As a young adult, I spent a lot of time drawing and daydreaming, and it worked for me. I survived every turning point in my life by being creative. Staying true to my nature gives my life meaning. It makes me feel alive. It fuels my endorphins. It turns out that those lovely little chemicals produced by the central nervous system and pituitary gland not only serve to inhibit the transmission of pain signals, but they're also capable of producing a feeling of euphoria. And I feel it every time I put that brush in hand. I wasn't back in school for long before I discovered that not only did I feel good about learning, but I was even doing well this time. The only consistency in my life was my art. Could being creative actually help make you smarter? When Einstein was stuck on a problem, he played the violin. He claimed that it inspired him to find a solution. The corpus callosum's job is to make sure both halves of the brain can communicate with each other. Studies on Einstein's brain show thicker connections in areas of his brain, specifically the prefrontal, abstract thinking and decision making, parietal lobe, sense and motor function, and visual cortex for seeing. He had a higher lateralization function than the normal brain, which at least partially explains why he was both brilliant and interesting. Neuroplasticity refers to our brain's ability to organize, strengthen, and adapt to meet our individual needs. And the more we engage parts of our brain, the stronger and thicker those connections become. So doing activities that keep your corpus callosum active and use both hemispheres of your brain at once could actually help improve brain function. All those parts of the brain working together, enhancing intelligence and thought. Our entire lives, from conception to death, we are creating a lifespan of experience, determining just who we are and who we are likely to become. Our life story. If we looked back and had our lives to do over again, what would we change? Immediately we consider our hardships, our misgivings. If we didn't have those experiences, our lives could have been very different. Who would we be? The smallest components of our lives have the ability to change the course of our very being. What would I change? Nothing. Because when it comes right down to it, everything that I am, all that I experienced, has made me who I am today. And I like me.